can have a garden just about anywhere, thanks to pots. But a fully potted garden comes with its own challenges too, especially in courtyards or on balconies where you may have less space to work with. And if you happen to be renting, you may be more concerned about keeping the space clean and tidy. So, I've got a few tricks to ease your mind and create an efficient potted garden. If you're renting, pots should be easy to move, and let's be honest, cheap. There's not much incentive to invest a lot when you know you might be on the move again soon, and you don't know whether what you buy now will suit another space. It's easy to find small plastic pots, cheaply or even for free, in curbside collections and neighbourhoods sharing websites. But instead of just grabbing anything, go for the bigger sizes, troughs or square pots in similar colours. Always give pots a good clean before reusing to prevent the spread of any plant diseases. Wash them with soapy water and leave them out in the sun to dry. Then give them a spray with diluted metho or eucalyptus oil to catch any remaining pathogens. If your budget allows, invest in a few of the same large pots or raised planters, even if they're plain old plastic. This means less repotting, and you can simply sit smaller pots into these until you're ready to plant. Fewer, larger pots also creates a solid, consistent foundation for your garden. Plastic is also much lighter too, so it's easier to move and less weight for your balcony. And if you're concerned about the weight of the soil, I've got a few easy ways you can fake fill your pots. The first is simple. You can reuse your small plastic pots as stands to prop up plants. Simply turn them upside down. And what if your plastic pot is just slightly too big for the decorative pot that you've got in mind? Carefully cut the rim with scissors so the plastic one can fit inside snugly and still be completely hidden. It can be tricky to get out down the track, so leave some handles. If the outer pot has drainage holes, you can place a saucer inside to keep the floor surface perfectly clean in case of drips or dirt falling out. You won't see it, so something like an old chipped dinner plate is perfect. Top the pot with mulch, charcoal or coconut coir fibre to disguise your handiwork. Allowing for space between the bottom of the pot and pavers or decks can help with drainage for plants that hate wet feet, and will reduce the build-up of dirt, algae and fungus that cause a yucky stain. It also allows for rain to clear out the muck, or you can use a hose and sweep out underneath them. And they're easier to move because you can get both hands underneath to lift them. Pot feet are available at most nurseries and range from cheap packs of rubber feet to little terracotta pieces you can get for a few bucks. Or you can go fancy and get ceramic or pattern ones. For an even cheaper version, try to repurpose old bricks or pavers. Just don't block the drainage holes. Also, plant caddies. They're great for solving two problems in the garden, giving height to a plant and allowing for ease of movement. If you're particularly worried about leaving behind unsightly watermarks, choose an extra large saucer that both the pot and the feet can fit within, so the water doesn't flow through to the ground. You will need to tip out the excess water every now and then. To help you maintain a tidy garden, it pays to have a few key tools to make your life easier. It's simple to make your own potting mat. You can use an old tub or cut open an empty potting mix bag. It's easy to brush or wash off the dirt and takes up very little storage space. You can also overlap a couple of them if there's a hole or if you need a larger play space. Your other go-to tool? Buckets. At least two of them. These are so versatile. You can use them for watering, for potting up, to catch any dirt or drips. You can also use them to store your tools, soil, the list goes on. And a decent pair of snips for harvesting, pruning, cutting open bags, plant ties, and all those other jobs. Just keep them clean with a detergent and/or metho wipe down after every use. Bromeliads are perfect potted plants. There are so many varieties with different shapes, colours and patterns, and they're all fairly undemanding when it comes to care. But just make sure you give them a free draining media, like a coarse orchid bark. few larger plants will create a cohesive look and make a big impact in a small or tricky space. And it's less to think about when you're moving. There are heaps of pot-loving plants that will create a neat wall of shrubbery as a backdrop for other bits and pieces. Here are some fabulous easy care examples that will create quick greenery in pots, and you can take them with you just about anywhere. Evergreen magnolias are fabulous trees with large glossy green leaves and contrasting fuzzy brown undersides. The dwarf forms grow to a compact 3 to 4 metres, perfect as a standalone feature or use a few as screening plants. And don't forget to mulch. It keeps pots from drying out too quickly, which means less watering for you. And it can also help tie an assortment of pots together nicely. You can also use cypress chips for a lovely warm colour, and the smell is divine. Gardening in pots can be loads of fun. It just takes some creative thinking. And the more you garden, the more tips and tricks you'll find to make any space work beautifully, wherever you are.